Hi. Have you ever thought about how tough it was for our ancestors to just get by without modern amenities that we take for granted? I mean, Wyoming's a really harsh climate, even with modern conveniences. It's it can still be really rough. The wind, it's dry, the snow, the wind. Did I say the wind? The wind is the worst. And it up in this high prairie where we are, high plains, what's it called, high desert plains or something like that. It takes a lot just to grow a tree. And you see my happy tree, that's my happy tree. Behind me, it's a green ash tree that I've been growing for probably 15 years here. And this tree just makes me happy, and the birds love it. So, my happy tree, and I'm really glad it's here. I'm very thankful for this tree. I have some other trees, but this is my biggest, best accomplishment out here. So anyway, I want to talk to you about some of the ways that they preserved food back then. They had no refrigeration. Whatever they had plenty of game meat. They could go hunt game meat. But as far as growing things, and if they were lucky enough to have a cow or a goat, then they had to figure out a way to store their milk. And one of the ways they did it was to basically ferment it. And you can go to the store now and you can buy kefir or you can buy yogurt. But the original kefir grains, they're ancient, and there's a lot of stories about how they came to be. But basically, they think that people carried around animal skin bags, and they kept milk in it, camel milk or goat milk or sheep milk. They just, they kept putting milk in, and this bacteria would, this culture of bacteria would grow on the inside of the bag, and eventually it would just like not really curdle the milk, but it changed the chemistry of it, and it lasted longer. It tasted different and it was thicker. And there's a lot of stories about kefir grains and a gift from God. But I found a way through reading pioneer diaries and recipes that they would, they didn't waste anything. If they had some milk go bad, we would have thrown it away, and they didn't. They changed it. They used nature to make it last longer. And today I'm going to show you how to do that with milk. And even with store-bought whole milk, it's better to use raw milk. But in today's life, not very many people have access to raw milk. We've talked about getting a cow, we've talked about getting goats, and we might someday. We're back, and we did get some chickens, so we'll see. That might be in the future for us. But for right now, even though we don't really drink a lot of milk, I have a lactose intolerance. I can drink this milk though once it's been fermented. So we're gonna get right into that. Pour some whole milk into a jar. Use a coffee filter and screw down the lid. Put it somewhere warm. We're going to check it in 24 hours. You can see that the milk has separated into curds and whey. It's been 36 hours. So it's been 36 hours and we have our curds and whey. I'm going to take out the lid, take the filter, and it has like a tart, tangy smell. I don't know if you can see. Now, the whey is quite clearly at the top. We're going to take a plastic strainer and some cheesecloth. We're just going to strain the whey off. can see all that in the bottom. We're just going to squeeze all that way out. Gently. Oh, now we're starting to get clumps, so when you do that, we know it's time to quit squeezing. So here's our curds. You can see has a nice aroma, kind of tart, kind of creamy, kind of smelling. I'm just going to taste a little bit. It's perfect. It doesn't have that real tangy kind of sour milk flavor. It's just kind of creamy, a little bit sour. Now, in order to make this into kefir, we're going to take a little bit, maybe that much, put it back in the strainer. I'm going to take my strainer over to the sink and pour some filtered water over it, and then I'll show it to you. This is how it looks after I've rinsed all the whey off of it. And this is your kefir starter. And now I'm going to pour some whole milk. I've never tried it with 2% or anything. I've always used whole. And now I got my milk. I'm just gonna put my little rinsed curds in there. I'm gonna put my coffee filter on with the lid. And I'm gonna put it back in the warm spot, and we're gonna kind of keep an eye on it. Most likely it won't be done until tomorrow morning. Now your leftover curds here, you can do whatever you want with that. You can squeeze it out more and wrap it up in the cheesecloth and twist it and let it drain into a jar in the refrigerator, so it is a more cream cheesy consistency. And you can eat that, just put it on crackers or whatever. Or you can use a little pinch of that to make some more kefir. This is what our farmer cheese looks like. I wanted to show you this. It's like a creamy, ball. It's good flavor. Now every day when you eat your kefir, save a little tiny spoonful, put it in another glass of milk, put it up with the filter, and put it in a warm place, and by morning that'll be ready. So you just kind of keep using a little bit of the starter each time. Now this is a jar that I made with a little bit that I left from my kefir from yesterday, and I left this in the warm spot, and it's almost like a yogurt consistency. It'll get smoother and smoother each time you do it. It has a really nice aroma. It smells just like kefir, the unsweetened, unfruited kind. It has a nice flavor, nice and smooth. And so that's going to be the kefir for this morning. You can add fruit to it, or you can add honey or cinnamon or whatever you want to make it taste a little different. I like it plain. So now my kefir is ready. I'm going to put a regular lid on it. And I'm going to put it in the refrigerator until I'm ready to consume it. And good morning. I did a little experiment yesterday because I wasn't sure which way it would turn out. This one I did with pouring milk into the residue left in the jar and stirring it up, and then I poured it into a clean jar. And this one I did the rinsed grains, the rinsed chunk of kefir starter grains. So this one actually finished last night, and this one took the 24 hours. They both, the consistency is thick on both of them. This one's a little runnier in the middle. So we'll try this one. Has a nice sour, almost like a sour cream smell. Texture's light, a little runny. Flavor's good. Here's one with the rinsed grains. Smells good. Texture's about the same. Has a good flavor. It's just a little bit different. So now we know. You could do it either way. Rinse the grains, start it with a fresh glass of milk, or just pour milk into when you're done consuming your kefir, you just pour milk in, stir it up, get all those chunks incorporated, and pour it into a clean one, or leave it in that one. I like to put it in a clean one. Either way, makes good kefir, yogurt, whatever you want to call it. All right, good morning. It's been 24 hours, maybe give or take. Probably not quite 24 hours, but you can see it's got a nice aroma. This one's definitely more yogurty like, but if you stir it up, it's more kefir like. Good flavor, nice and mellow, just a little sour. So when you're done consuming this, you can either add milk and, don't rinse it or anything, just add milk directly to it after you pour off your portion. There'll be a lot clinging in the bottom of the jar. So just add milk to that, set it in a warm place with your coffee filter, and it'll make a nice consistency, 24 hours. Or you can actually strain some of the grains, rinse the whey off of them, and it makes a little different texture. Pretty similar flavor though. So anyway, that's how I make my homemade kefir. I hope you enjoy it.